Hey, tonight we got Corey DeLong from CD Constrictors down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Corey's been at it a long time. He's a full-time breeder and has been for a bit. And tonight we're going to hang out, get a bunch of knowledge and education from him. We will talk about what it takes to be a full-time breeder. I love the Acid Confusion project. We're going to get into that. There's some nuances of that project. We're going to talk about some of that stuff and just hear about the combos that he's worked and created over the past while. He's been a pretty influential person in that project. And we'll talk about the show circuit and the whole show market versus the rest of the market. So lots to learn tonight. Corey DeLong from CD Constrictors. It is Proper Royals Live. What's going on, everybody? It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 7 o'clock here in Minnesota. We passed the solstice, and the days, thank God, are going to get shorter. The other day, I found myself like hoping, oh great, I have no camera. This is fun for live stuff. I think the audio is still good. My camera. All right, don't anybody move. I found myself like wishing that winter was back so that the days were shorter. And I was like, I'm wishing for Minnesota winter back, psychopath. But I swear to God, it is light here at like 4:15 in the morning. And it was 9:40 the other night. And I was still on my back porch. And I was like, I'm still calling it light. Anyway, I don't know why I'm bothering to tell you all that. I'm just filling the time, you know. So welcome. Glad to have you. I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're not too hot out there or flooded. And my camera is out again. I'm going to have to fix this if it continues. Oh, that's terrible. That shows you behind the scenes what the difference between the FaceTime camera and the USB video is. Hang on here. We're going to fix this once and for all, I think. We're going to go with this for just a minute. The fun of live. Corey's like, and this is why I don't like live shows. This is what happens. One moment here. All right. We're going to roll with this. Back to the announcements. I finished the stretch of shows. I'll be done with shows until August. I'll be in Bloomington at the Snake Discovery Show next. That's not August. That is July. One show in July, and then back to my usual kind of pace in August. So little summer schedule going on. Thanks to Des Moines this past Sunday, I was down in Des Moines. It's a good show. Everybody told me that the summers here, like everybody's at lakes or cabins or traveling, and there's a little bit of that. I did plenty well. I did well enough to keep going. No problem on that. So no complaints. Next stop though for me is July 6th. I will be at Warfel's Morphs Cookout, Wharfstock, I think he's calling it. We'll be there, and I will be there. I will be there with everybody that is all there, and all together that'll be we. I'll be playing some music with Phil Snyder from Fingersnakes BP. We'll do a little set, maybe an hour and 10 minutes kind of thing. Not the whole day. You don't have to put up with this forever. So we'll do that. And we've got next week, I've got Jeremy Warfel on the show as the guest. We'll talk about everything he's got going on, and he's doing a lot with carpet pythons. And I know he's looking into getting into some other species, unlike myself, trying to stay on the straight and narrow with ball pythons. July 16th, 7/16. July 16th, we got Billy Rose from Mutation Creation. Will be on the show for the first time, so I'm pretty pumped about that. This Thursday, Proper Cup of Joe will continue as normal. We will also do the July 4th episode as regularly scheduled. So the festivities don't get going until well after that show is over. So we'll continue on both of those. We'll keep those going. One quick plug for the Proper Royals Patreon. First off, thanks to all the Patreon members. The community is growing, and like it's more and more fun. And now it's big enough. I've got the Patreon people are going to be like, what? I've got to figure out how to probably move things over to like a Discord platform rather than just a group chat. We keep everything in a group chat and it's cool, but there's enough information, knowledge, business interaction among everybody on there that I'm probably going to move it to a platform like Discord before too long. But come check it out. It's as low as $7 a month. You get all access to all media and all chat room at the $7. The next 2 tiers have added benefits, but the biggest perks of them is that all of your money goes back to you in store credit. And on that topic with store credit, I got clutches hatching. I'll have another 25 clutches this year. So you build store credit, it all goes back to you. I eat the fees. So go check it out. If you're interested in that, the link is down below in my link tree. And last but not least, I'm nearly confident something could pop up. There's always something, it seems like, not in a negative way, just in a true, this is how things go. But the properroyals.com website should be live on, I don't know, I'll say by the end of this week, but certainly by the beginning of next week. I don't know for sure because I'm not the developer. I'm not the guy that flips the switch. That's Robert at Husbandry Pro. He will make that final call. They've been great. We've been developing a website that ties in with all of the Husbandry Pro software. It's an e-commerce site. You could buy directly from me there, and all the information contained in Husbandry Pro is accessible there on the website. Care sheets, stuff about me and Kelly, but most importantly, the ball pythons are there. It also has a few full viewing area of all the YouTube content. So you can watch the show reruns there and all that stuff. So I'm very excited for it. Massive thanks to Husbandry Pro. If you're interested in one yourself, for yourself, after you check it out, just let me know and I'll put you in touch with them, or you can reach out to them. But massive thanks to Robert and the team at Husbandry Pro. Corey DeLong, CD Constrictors. I've known of Corey for a long time. I came up in Jacksonville, just north of Daytona. I'd seen his stuff. Obviously, I've seen it on Morph Market, and I've always loved the Acid Gene. So his combos have stuck out to me. And I don't think I brought it up to him. We got to talk. I got to mention it to him. I think I actually have one of his animals from secondhand source, but I'll check with them on that for sure. Steven at Leviathan Snakes introduced Corey and I at Tinley, and it seemed like a good fit. And we said, you know what, let's make one of these shows happen. And here we are. Another good example of why you should get out to shows, get out there and meet people, shake hands, and see who you hit it off with. So anyhow, I would like everybody to welcome, if you would, Corey DeLong from CD Constrictors for the very first time to the Proper Royal stage. Corey, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I am good. I get well, first I get antsy when my camera goes out. So that
I saw that. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that was fun, right? That was cool.
Yeah.
But then also my the Patreon has been giving me a little bit of heat for how much I ramble at the beginning. They're like, you have guests for a reason. I'm like, okay, all right, we'll get to it. So anyway, thanks for being here, man. I know that you don't do a whole lot of these, so I really appreciate you being here. Not to mention you got like stuff. You got stuff to do. You got animals. You got a business to run. You don't need to sit around.
There's always stuff to do. There's always stuff to do, but we can make time for things like this. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Well, yeah.
I haven't done too many of these. I've done one. I did one with Billy a while back. I think I did a couple with Ozzy. I did one other one with somebody. I can't remember.
Those are pretty good names. Now you're going to be like, I did one with Billy, with Ozzy, and Adam. You know, the three. Those are the ones who.
The three. Yep. That's it. Somebody's got to take over, man. Somebody got to take over, right?
I'm far from that. One day though.
Hey, I mean, those guys are 20-some years into it, man. You know, I'm only 12 years in. Yeah, 12 years in. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been? So you've been breeding for 12 years. How long have you been taking a stab at it full time?
I picked up my first animals with my son back when he was a little tyke back in 2012. So that was the beginning of it, 2012. Nice. So that was in like June or July. I don't know. They were down here. And then, you know, my local shop was telling me, oh, look at all this stuff you can do, you know? And I'm like, whoa. I was into birds at the time. Like I had Amazons and, you know, African grays and some macaws and stuff
Oh,
like that.
Do you still have them?
No, I don't know. I was doing some travel nursing for a while, and I had to give some of those up, and I kept like one or two, and then slowly as this picked up, I, you know, found good homes for those. So, but I was having a lot of fun doing that, you know. So
those are a longer commitment than reptiles.
Yeah,
man.
what I was doing was I didn't actually own any myself per se, but I was working with a friend that had was part of a parrot rescue. So it was a good way for me to, you know, I had to get vetted and everything and all that, and then to check me out. And so with something would come up for adoption or someone had to rehome something, you know, they would call me and say, hey, can you go pick this up and so, and you know, so I'd be driving all over the state of Florida picking up these, you know, these Amazons and macaws and then, you know, taking them to a vet, and the parrot rescue would pay for that. And then we try to find homes for them. So when I got the travel assignment that I got for nursing, I was kind of like, hey guys, I'm like not going to be home 3 or 4 days a week. So somebody needs to take over what I got here. And, you know, it was a few weeks and that they got that to happen. So, but it was interesting. You get to a lot of exposure to a lot of different species of birds, and, you know, it was really cool. Really cool.
I don't have, my limited experience is that I was bit in the cheek by an African gray and kept up all night by their yapping. So I've decided that I'm probably not a parrot guy, but I think they're cool. They're gorgeous animals, man.
They are.
That takes a special, like they can go and have their own personalities, and they're stubborn too, huh?
They are stubborn. They can get stubborn. They go through puberty at a different point in time, and, you know, when they get to be a year and a half old, and they're going through puberty, they're just miserable. They turn into a different. It's like this nice little pet that you had, or this little creature that you were taking care of, and now it's going through. And that's when a lot of people get rid of them. In all honesty, that's what we have to get rescues. You know, they go through puberty, and people don't understand, well, what was going on with my bird? He was perfectly fine, and now he's just an a-hole, you know? And I'm like, well, they're going through puberty, and, you know, they're kind of developing their sexual maturity, and, you know, that's what's going on. That's why he's changed his demeanor. He's developing into something, you know? So,
not to make the whole show about birds, but I am intrigued. How long does a parrot's puberty last? Because they live to like 70. So is that like a teenager?
I think it's just a teenager stage. Could be a year or two, you know, at the most. You
got to get through 2 years of your bird being a
people get frustrated with that. You know, I can see why they want to, you know, have them rescued or whatever. So yeah. But anyway, it was that was going on, and I had I went to Daytona that year, and I was, you know, the guy at my local pet shop, he vended there, and he had the dry goods is what he did mostly. So he'd help me out and be like, I saw pieds, and I'm like, I have to get a pied, you know, I got a female pied, and I actually found a really nice size one. And
how much were they in 2012?
Back then, I think we're looking around between $1,000 and $1,500. For a female. So I got a nice size female, and this was, remember, Daytona's in August, so I got a nice size female, and I went over to him and I'm like, hey, look, I got this female, you know, she's really nice pied, and she's almost 1,000 grams. I couldn't believe somebody to sell her a pied that big. And I'm like, I need to get a male. And he's like, you don't need a male. I'm like, I could breed this bottle. I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna figure this out.
I'm pretty sure. Well, 2013, I hatched pieds. So yeah, I got it done the first year. So that was my first experience. Like I went right into it, and the next year I made pieds. So
yeah, nice.
It was pretty fun. Yeah.
How long? You know, Ozzy talks about it being 5 years before he went full time. How long did you, or when did you decide, and what was the context? Like if you were happy, like if people are happy in their jobs, there's no reason for them to go full time, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I was doing a lot. I was doing full-time nursing. So that was, 3 days a week, 3 12-hour shifts. I had my own landscaping business. So I was doing that.
You're landscaping on top of the 12-hour zombie grind? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I was doing this all because, the reptiles, I kind of thought that this could be something. I really did back when I started. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of going to do this business thing. And so I started the lawn business. I had done some stuff like that before when I was younger, not as serious as I did. I had like 40 contracts on my own for the lawn business. And that was, I was getting off a shift, and sometimes I worked nights and sometimes I worked days doing the nursing, and I just do what I could to do the lawns. And then, doing the reptiles, and, for a while there, it was hairy, doing rodents and reptiles. And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy life here.
But throwing a dad on top just for fun, right?
Yeah. So, traveling to see kids and doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So that was all a lot. But I think it took me around 2017 is when I said, I think I'm going to start paring back on the nursing career, paring back on the lawn business. And in March of 18, I let you know on this. I was trying to transition. That I knew that's what I wanted to do, is transition into doing this full time.
Right.
So I worked with Winston, WHS Reptiles, down here in Florida. He's in Orlando, not too far from me. So I went there. I was working with him like 3 days a week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'd go out and help him.
Oh, smart.
Like clean, feed, pair, do some stuff, and just learn a different methodology of things. So, I had acquired my own way of doing things over 2, 3, 4 years, myself, and learning from some people, but to see it at a different facility firsthand, helping somebody else out and how they do something. So that was a good experience, I got access to a lot of tricks of the trade and things like that. And, how to, you got a tricky feeder, what you do, or, different pairings.
How long did you do that with Winston? And was that, and I don't know, maybe you don't want to share, and that's okay if you don't. Was that volunteer, or was it like an employee thing, or was it a little bit of
employee type of situation?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How long was that for?
Probably about a year and a half.
What a great place to learn, man. What a great setting. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So then in the spring of 18, in March, I remember this, March of 18, I finally sold my lawn business. So I operated that for about 5 or 6 years, finally sold that, and then really started scaling back on the nursing. I'd only pick up a shift or two a month. And, by that time I'd done a handful of Daytona shows and some Repticons, but mainly just Daytona, and always trying to get into Tinley, which was hard, back then. It's like, yeah, good luck. But, finally, in the fall of 18, I just said, nursing, I'll see you later. I'm checking out. I'm done with that. I still have my nursing license. I keep it active.
Yeah.
So, it's just some continuing education, and, the Florida Department of Health, quiz thing that you got to do, and make sure you've met all your requirements, and pay the state your $75, and here's your license,
It's probably good. I mean, you're talking about.
It's good. I mean,
if people and stuff.
If the wheels ever fell off the wagon, I could always do nursing. But that's another way to look at it too. Yep. But it's a career that I did for a good 2008. I did it for 10 years full time. Well, the last year was maybe part time, but so yeah, it was in 2018. The end there, October-ish, I think, somewhere around there. I was like, yeah, nursing, peace out, and never went back, and have been full-time now for 5, 6 years. So 18 to 24, 6 years, Yeah. We're not October yet, but we're pretty close. I mean, we're almost there.
Right. Did you, was there like I don't want to use the word crash or make it sound dramatic, but was there a dip or a downturn or a bump in the road before, obviously before COVID, or something that sticks out in your mind that after coming out of COVID, you were able to go like, all right, I've done this before in such and such year, or what sticks in your mind on that?
I think it was right around that time. It was 17, 18. And that's when I was working for Winston. And that was kind of a like, maybe helping out the business a little bit, picking up a little bit of extra, helping him out. And I'm like, okay, well, sales they were okay, but I think I had seen better sales before. So maybe in that time frame, maybe I was like, more than willing to take that. It was an hour drive for me each way.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm beachside in Daytona. Like I'm 2 blocks from the ocean.
Yeah.
So to get anywhere in Daytona, like for me to hit 95 or I-4, it's 20 minutes just to get to I-4.
Yeah.
And that's 45 minutes to his place. So,
that was a pretty dedicated decision then if you were commuting an hour each way.
I was learning a lot. And, I had known him for a year or two before I started there. And he had, an employee that didn't, was on and off and wasn't studying enough for him. So he's like, hey, if you can commit to this for 3 days a week, I'm like, I'm on board. Yeah, let's do it.
That's fantastic. There's been people that have either allowed me or invited me to their facilities, or Dale would let me vend with him.
Yeah,
not my snakes. I would vend his snakes, but
sure.
But I tell people that's the best way, man. And for that to be a year and a half with Winston, man, that just had to be fantastic opportunity for you.
Yeah, and I got to see like cool stuff hatching and be like, I want that one,
right. Yeah.
Sometimes there wasn't a lot of money made. It was like, I guess I'm working for free this next month.
Yeah, go and put that one. Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that too.
There were days vending with Dale where I'm like, and I did it as a volunteer anyhow. So I was like, okay, I'm going home with less money because I've been staring at those two. Actually, the two I'm thinking of. They're in the rack breeding this year, so I'm waiting on. Hopefully, one goes. But I remember that day. I was like, look, those two I've been staring at those two all day. What can we do on those? He was like,
right.
All right, here's what I could do, kind of deal. So anyway, but those are good opportunities. Well, I can't remember if there was there anything driving a dip, or was it just a time in the market where? I don't think so.
Maybe it was the point my collection was at. Maybe I was in a little bit of a transition myself. I can't really recall. I'm reading comments here. I'm just trying to keep up with the comments and go, but. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying it was the market. I can't recall, but it was maybe, my project, maybe, maybe I was transitioning to, from some more incomplete dominant stuff and going into more recessive stuff. And it took a little bit of time to get that built up. And around that time, I was probably like, I think 15, 16, 17. I was making for my income at that point, I was making some substantial investments for me. I was buying, like when you're buying a $5,000 animal and you're only a few years into it, it's like, okay, I need to work some overtime to pick this up, or I need to sell something I don't want to sell and grab this.
Right.
So it was, there might have been a little bit of that going on too, but
Yeah. Well, and I think that's an important topic too, because a lot of people, I noticed, I just noticed you have Steven's shirt on there from Leviathan Snakes.
Yeah.
He and I tussle with that a lot. He's like, man, you need to pick up some of these. I'm like, that's not in my lifestyle right now, man. Like I got to make that money before I'm going to spend that kind of money. And I do, I'm not, people have seen my Instagram, I do have some nice stuff that I pick up. And I think one of the most recent ones, I think it actually came from you originally. I got it from Shannon at Green Dragon Brokers, but I think it's from you. It's a Orange Dream Leopard Red Stripe Male Clown, and I think it's from you, but it might be from Ozzy. But I think he said it was in a batch that he got from you. I could be wrong though.
I know Shannon. We went to dinner. We went to dinner when Steve and Courtney were here. A few months back. I don't remember that one. I'm not going to say it wasn't me, but I'm not going to say that it was. I can't. And
I might have when we were negotiating, I might have seen that you had one listed where I was like, I think that's that. I thought it was the same one that I'd seen listed on your page. But anyway, either way, it's a cool snake. I'm happy with it, no matter where it came from. But cool. In the opening tonight, I was like, wait a minute, I think I might have one of your snakes. But Josh says, wait, we're not supposed to buy 5. I'm not saying you're not supposed to. I'm saying in my home.
That's just a start. That's just the entry level when you get serious.
But if if I don't show up with a little down payment on the home front, I could have a $5,000 snake and an ex-wife, or I could have the nice world that I have and work towards it a little more.
Yeah.
That's all.
See, I'll be honest. That's something that I didn't have to worry about because I was divorced. So I didn't have kids, but I was divorced. So I didn't have to worry about anyone telling me, "Man, you can't do that." You know, it was all me making the calls. So,
and to be honest, I put that on us, but that's really not.
Yeah.
She's, at this point, I got to be honest. To tell you the truth, for any woman to go, have 200 snakes in the basement, walk away from your career, and money, like the money's good, revenue's good. Okay, cool. You know, that's it. And I'm pretty blessed that way. So I can't. Not
always about the money. It's about what you enjoy, right? Because I'll tell you, before I went to nursing, I was making a lot more in my previous career than I did in nursing. So, you know, it's not always about the money. It's about what you enjoy doing. And I made a decision back, you know, in 2007 that I was done with one career and I wanted to transition to something else, and nursing was it, you know? So that's what I did, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that was me in 2021. I didn't necessarily have to be ball pythons, but it was not
something.
I was not going to run restaurants day to day any longer. 26 years finishing in COVID was that. I was good. I didn't know what it was going to be. And my first choice was ball pythons, but jury's still out on that, you know, so we'll see. But I had that same thought of happiness where I was like, you know what, I've got what I need. Socked away. Maybe I have to eat some ramen noodles time to time.
Christina about there picking up shifts, you know, to buy the animals you wanted. That's exactly what I did when I was nursing. I would schedule myself. Well, I had a lot of self-scheduling in nursing, which was really cool. I worked a unit. I worked in ICU one time, and you could make your own schedule there as long as they had it filled out. So I scheduled myself a lot 6 days straight, which would give me 8 days off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd work a Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 1 week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for the next week, and then I'd have 8 days off. So if I wasn't fishing, which I normally was, at that point, I was picking up overtime shifts, because in an 8-day period, you're going to get called for some overtime shifts.
Right. Yeah.
And somebody's going to call out sick. We got a critical patient. We need a one-on-one, you know, or whatever. So I got plenty of shifts to pick up, you know, to make that overtime money to buy additional animals that I wanted, you know. So
I think I never worked like a typical 9 to 5, because restaurants just aren't that. That's never the case. But I could do this, and not that restaurants and nursing are anywhere remotely as important equally or anything like that. But I could do similar things where what I would do is, you know, my schedule would get posted, but then I would trade shifts and this or that. They didn't care as long as it was covered. But just like you're saying, if you pack in all your hours and they know that you're reliable, I would hit 40 hours after like 4 days. And then I'd either be like, I'm off, or it's Saturday night. Saturday night and you want help? Okay, now you're going to pay me time and a half and get that extra cash, you know? So, but those are the kinds of, like, when I hear people say that, I'm like, this is a person that I understand. Like, this isn't just, oh shoot, I can't do it. Oh, well, no, we figure out how to do it. We find a way around stuff. So, fast forward to today, give us some context. How many pairings, or how many clutches, or what's sort of your volume? I noticed on Morph Market, you say a small breeder, but you're bigger than a lot of people. Or certainly people look up to you. So what sizes are you?
I'm probably going to touch 50 this year. You know, I scaled back a little bit last year. I said I was going to scale back a little bit last year. I think I still hit like 42 to 44, 45 maybe. I have to go look. But what's up, Will? Will's got a good Discord. If you're not in Will's Discord, I'm not dissing you. I got to get on yours too, Adam, but Will's got a really good Discord. It's the first one I joined.
If you say my name in Will's in the sentence with Will, you're not dissing me, okay, man? Well, I got I got a little perception of me and some of the other people, man. No, Will is on, and actually, I was thinking about Will was on the show, which was great of him to do. But I remember to this day one of the things he said, and you were kind of describing it when you talked about your experience with Winston, and then like as you were scaling up. Will said, there's nothing wrong with growing into business. You don't have to just go into business. You could take your time and work towards it. And I'm like, that's the best sentence that I've been trying to convey for years. Like, you don't have to just flip a switch and put all your chips in at one time, you know?
Right. Yeah. Just, get your feet wet, see how it goes. And, I could have transitioned either way. If it wasn't going to work out for me, I definitely was, could have kept going with the nursing or the landscaping business or whatever. But, it all worked out for what I was planning to work out. And so I consider that a success, So, looking probably this year around touching 50, right around 50 number. I mean, I've got a few that still need to ovulate, a majority of them still have to lay. I think I've got like 26 or 27 in the incubator. I've got like 14 clutches hatched. So I'm waiting on about, 20 more females, 20 plus to lay or ovulate. They're like 30 plus millimeters. It's funny you work with Dale. I did a little breeder thing with Dale. So I've got a couple of his animals here.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, I was getting nervous for a while, and I've messaged him so many times. I'm like, man, these things just aren't developing follicles at all, And then all of a sudden, they go from like 13, and I saw like 19 millimeters. I'm like, oh, okay, they've been 13 forever. Now we're 19.
Rocketing, yeah.
Like put an extra pairing on them, and I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And all of a sudden, they're like 29. I think they both ovulated in the last week. So I'm nice. I was like, man, I got these, and it's not going to work out. It's going to be a bummer. And then they both just ovulate. So yeah.
Well, and I think unless he's changed, I don't think that Dale doesn't use an ultrasound. He's just like, no,
I don't think so either. When I was over there in this place, it's like way up there in the shelf somewhere with all this dust on it. It's like, it's all right. I did it for years too, but I'll tell you, when you want to, I think, get serious and, and I know there's still people that do this. I don't think Ozzy uses an ultrasound still.
Joe at JSA doesn't. He said he's working on like only pairing males once this year. And I'm like, what do you do without an ultrasound? You're doing that? He's a madman.
Yeah. I used to be able to, that's one thing when I was at Winston's, I had the benefit of, I could borrow his, and then I got to the point where, he's such a nice guy. He let anybody borrow his ultrasound that needed to borrow it, and I'm like, well, it wasn't available this week because somebody else was using it. And I'm like, I need to buy my own ultrasound because I got used to using it,
Right.
So I think it was 19 or 20 or somewhere around there, 21, I think. I think it was 2020. And I just stepped up and I did a bunch of things that I wanted to do in 2020 because it was a good year. And I got a really nice ultrasound. And I think for me, it was one of the best investments that I made because it kind of prioritizes,
right.
If I've got one male and he's breeding a couple females and, this one went from this one's still just sitting here at 20, and she can wait another week for a pairing, but this one went from 20 to 25. My odds over here are better to get this last lock, and let me do that. And then this girl over here, maybe that's just still sitting at 20 millimeters. Maybe I can pair her next week, and I'll be all right. So for me, I think the ultrasound has worked out well just for what I do. Everybody's got their own method. I've heard of a lot of people getting 1 or 2 locks and being done, and that's seldom happened for me. I get 1 or 2 of those every year. But like I say, out of 40 or 50 clutches, that's not commonplace for me at all.
Right. How often, like this time of year is kind of, like you say, we're sort of in the thick of breeding season. Some are laying, some are ovulating, some we're still waiting on. How often do you ultrasound your females?
Once a month. Yeah.
Once a month. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, when you're saying they went 5 millimeters, I was like, how often is he talking about? Yeah, I do every.
Sometimes I will, if I'm questioning one, like if if I've got one that's been eating well and then like she doesn't eat this week and I'm like, well, you should have ate this week. Why didn't you eat? You know?
Right.
I'll get the ultrasound out and I'll be like, oh, you went from 20 to 29 or 28, 20 to 30. And I'm like, okay, you're 30. I could see why you maybe didn't take a meal this
Right.
week,
Yeah.
You know, so it's totally expected. Well, once you get the ultrasound out, you're like, okay, so it's not a husbandry issue or anything like that. You know, everything's fine there. Nothing's wrong with her. She's done. You know, she's cooked. So we don't, you know, I can throw one in next week and see if something happens, but probably not going to take next week either. You know, if she's starting to refuse now. So that's where it's come in handy. Situations like that, you know.
Do you get any? I've heard stories of this, but I've never experienced it. Some people say that some of, not all of them, not often. I mean, it stands out as an exception, but do some of theirs eat just either straight through or right up to that they don't stop?
I've had a few females eat up until like the week before they ovulate.
Yeah. But not once they ovulate into laying.
No, I haven't had that happen.
I've heard of it, but I've never experienced that either. Yeah,
I have heard of that. Winston and I know a guy, I think Steve Tillis, and I think he works for somebody that they're going to offer a rat every week to every snake.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they get offered every week. So
yeah, I'm kind of with you. When they turn off for ovulation, I'm done until they lay.
As long as their body structure looks good, and you know, I can pick up a female and be like, yep, you're probably going to go this year, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I had a couple this year that absorbed on me, and you know that's going to happen. I think almost every year to one or two females, you know, that you want a clutch out of, but it happens, you know, and it just means, well, it's always for a good reason. You know, it's like I'll have a better male for you next year, you know, and I never end up disappointed. So it's like, okay, well, I got something better to throw at you next year. It would have been nice to get a clutch, but you know, we'll do it again next year.
Do you do any planned years off, or do you just leave that to Mother Nature? If they go, they don't, they don't.
I don't really do any planned years off. I have some big females that, you know, maybe 3,500, 4,000 grams, and like I still will hold them because they're valuable to some of my projects, and I'll go every other year with some of those because I know, you know, even throwing them a medium rat or you know whatever every week or maybe a 2 on some weeks, they're just not going to get back to size, you know. And I gave I gave one the year off this year that I would have been nice to make a clutch out of, but you know she tops out at probably around 4,000 grams, and she just wasn't going to probably get back there. And I paired her once or twice and never saw any follicles. You know, you got a string of 8s there, and they're not going to grow. And I'm just like, okay, this is the year you're going to take off. So, you know, we'll try you again next year.
Yeah. Good insight on, because I think a lot of people might think, oh, well, she's not 4,000 grams, but she's 3,100. That's still huge. I should just breed her away, you know, just breed kind of thing, which if she's not going to go, she's not going to go anyhow. But good perspective on getting them back and looking at the body condition rather than just that 1,500.
I used to be like really meticulous with like records. Like I'd have on their cards, I'd be like, okay, you were like 2,500 grams when you laid, and your eggs were this much, you're this much after you laid, and like I want to get you at least to where you were or a few hundred grams more. So, you know, that was my goal back then. What's up, Dale?
We say his name and he pops up, man. There it is. Yeah, he's like the candy man right there.
This guy's everywhere. This guy's everywhere. I sent him a picture earlier this week because one of those females ovulated, and I'm like, he's so laid back, you know. He's like, yeah, cool.
He's like, yeah, you know, that's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, T? So I got T there.
Yeah, we get to I get to see T in a couple of weeks. He's going up to Pennsylvania too, man. I was stoked when I heard that. Yeah, so we'll be able to hang out and catch up.
What's going on in Pennsylvania?
That's there's a guy, Jeremy Warfel. He's one of the other many podcast people out there, but he hosts a cookout on the East Coast, and he is kind enough to asked me to come both attend, but also to play music and perform
Cool.
for the show. So I go do that, but really it's about hanging out and seeing everybody.
Yeah.
So I did it last year, and I said, well, I'll go. I'll be there this year.
I'm jealous now that I know you play guitar, because I'm like, I'd love to play guitar, but I'm just not like, I'm trying to learn how to play golf again. So
I'll take guitar over golf any day. Golf pisses me off. I do not. I worked for the PGA Tour and I hate golf. Like
really?
TPC Sawgrass was my restaurant, man. I opened that new clubhouse. Yeah, that was me.
Wow.
No thanks.
Huge undertaking. Yeah.
I don't care for that game.
No.
I did love the restaurant, but I don't care for that game.
I like it. I golfed when I was in the Navy. They had a course right on base, and I'd go to relax in Orlando, and then didn't do it for many years. When my son got down here, and he worked at a country club, and golf was free for employees. So he started golfing, and I'm like, okay, I'll go. And now it's like, we don't get to go together every week, but most of the time we do get to golf around, at some point during the week. We'll squeeze.
Oh, that's great. You guys get to do that together, though. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I'm just out there having fun, and, he gets upset when he shanks one or does something. I'm like, hey, man, we're just out here enjoying it, just out here soaking up. I'm like, where else are you doing this? We're just out here having fun.
Yeah.
Riding out in the car, and got our beverages, and having fun and chasing a little white ball around, Can't get any better than that,
I'll tell you what I dislike. I think most about, I get a little bored with it, honestly. It's like 5 hours on a good pace. Like it's too much. But
my son and I can knock out a round in 3 hours. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's if you got the course to yourself, though. If you got me in front of you, you're playing 5 hours. All right.
Okay, at least. We've had a few of those. Yeah.
The thing I dislike, I think the most, I know good and well I suck. I know I'm horrible. I'll pick my ball up. We'll go. I won't hold you up. I'll play my own game. Every hole, somebody's like, no, you need to do this. Oh, this, I'll help you fix that. I'm like, just let me just hack at the thing and enjoy my horrible, crappy game that I play. And nobody can like let it go. Everybody's like, no. Here's how you want to do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm
just out here having fun,
Yeah, I just want to bang the ball.
Yeah, just smash the ball. You catch a couple good holes, and you get a par here or bogey, and gotten a birdie like rarely, but par. I'm happy with par. I'm happy with the bogey, man.
Definitely.
My goal is to get at least no more than a double on every hole. Like if I get a double bogey, I'm happy. That's like a 108. It's not horrible.
That's amazing.
Fun.
Yeah. I've never hit under 100, but like if I hit it in the fairway, I'll play it, and if I don't, I'll pick it up and I'll throw it in the fairway. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm helping you. I promise I'm helping. I will lose. I'm happy to lose.
Time.
It's fine. Yeah, let's move. And they're like, yeah, that's not in the rules. And I'm like, look, okay, this is
it's in my rules. It's in my rules. It's okay. Yeah.
It was real money that I paid. How about I get to play however? Anyway. Will, there you go. I was like 78. Yeah, you and me both, brother. So let's talk about, we got time for a little segment here. How about let's switch gears to Acid Confusion project. I love it. I love the gene. I know you've done really cool stuff on it. And I have to admit, I didn't realize this. You told me when we came on the air, there's been some question or rekindling of the question. I thought the question was long settled. What's the word? Maybe they are a little bit different. Are they like allelic, or we don't know?
I don't know. I haven't watched the episode from I guess RGI put something out. I just saw the headline and a few people talking about it. That apparently they're claiming it's not the same. So that's a big surprise to a lot of people. So I have both. I have acid. And I have confusion. I have kept acid pretty much in my freeway projects, and I work confusion in my clown projects. So that's
was there any reason that you specifically kept them separate? I realized in my mind, once sort of clearly not scientifically, but once it's sort of widely understood or believed that they're the same, in my mind, I'm going, all right, let's just label them all one thing and on we go kind of thing. But you kept them, you purposely kept them separate.
I already had the names on the tubs. I mean, what am I going to go around and rewrite cards and stuff? I mean, you know,
no, well, I didn't mean it necessarily that way. I meant it more specifically as where you bred them and how you bred them. Not so much of what's on the card, but in what projects or where.
Because my acids, I never made acid clowns. I made some acid het clowns because I originally had an acid, but it was not het for anything. So way back in like, I think 17, 18, maybe, I made some acid hets, and I like sold the whole clutch. I like sold everything and bought Confusion from Justin. So, but I did breed that acid, you know, to some other things that weren't clown and kept those for freeway projects, like bred it to yellow belly combos, and then I used those for freeway projects. So just, you know.
So now it just occurs to me. And by the way, RGI was on the show a month ago. Ben is great. This is not a knock on. I would say this about anybody.
Yeah.
Isn't that going to create massive demand for tests because everybody's mixed and commingled them as the same damn thing? Like, it just occurred to me that
I honestly don't think so. You know, we went through the whole DG thing, and you know, we had a little bit of confusion there, not a little bit, a lot for a while, and then, you know, we finally figured, okay, yeah, it's recessive like we thought it's been for the last 20 years. It's not, you know, polymorphic or whatever. So, you know, I don't necessarily think it's going to create a demand for sheds, and I don't think I don't know if they're completely certain on it. Like I said, I didn't watch the whole episode. I just
heard, I have to go back and watch as well. I'm thinking more from like, if
I just know this. I had acids way back when. Got acid from Josh. Confusion, right? I mean,
I was going to ask, did you sort? Because Josh is in your area. I was going to ask if you sourced from him. I mean, that's the acid guy, right?
Right. Yep. So I was breeding rodents at the time, and Josh, you know, was having a hard time getting rodents, like a lot of people in Florida did. And so I was like, okay, well, I can supply you with rodents, but what am I going to get out of it, you know? And so he brought some acid stuff over, and you know, Charlie's still researching it. Cool. You know, we'd all like to know. So I had basically an adult acid of his here, and, you know, he's like, see if you can do something with this. I just can't get it to breed, you know, over at my place. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got some stuff I'll try it with, you know. And I couldn't get the thing to lock anything, you know. I tried all the tricks I knew, you know, back then, and I couldn't get the thing to breed, and I eventually got my own from him, and it was an okay eater. And man, I got maybe like 2 or 3 clutches out of that thing. You know, the one het clown clutch that I sold off, I sold like the whole clutch to a guy that wanted it. And then like I kept some of the yellow belly complex stuff because I bred it to some yellow bellies. I like that look of what back then when Justin was making Confusion leopard, Confusion yellow belly. So I was like, okay, yeah, I've got this. I'm going to try to make some acid yellow belly stuff. Was 2 of the best looking genes that I thought went with it was leopard and yellow belly. So that's what I worked with acid, and I got, you know, I kept the stuff back that worked with the freeway project, you know. And then I turned around and got that money that I sold that whole clutch from, the acid het clutch, and I turned around and bought a Confusion clown from Justin. And that's what I started my clown basis with from that stuff.
Gotcha. You know? And that was a male, I take it, or did you get a female back then?
Yeah, I got a male back then.
Yeah.
You know, it was one at the time. It was like the highest price snake I bought. You know.
Oh yeah, they were. I bought an acid het clown. It was 50% het clown, and it proved to be clown. And at the time, and I got a deal on it, and I still was I think the most expensive animal I'd ever bought at the time. That guy, I this past season, I finally recorded 2 locks with him. Now, I'm not saying that other ones didn't happen, and when I didn't overnight, when I didn't see in the drawer.
Sure.
And those females, I'll cut the eggs on one of those females in about 2 weeks, but because I didn't get any more than 1 lock, I put another male in there. I mean, it was the same kind of difficulty thing. So it's like, all right, if I see either highways or super gravels, I'll know it was one dad.
Yeah.
If I see anything acid, it'll be the acid het clown boy. But yeah, in 2 years of breeding, this year now I've seen him lock all of 2 times. So it's just been a stubborn, difficult road. And anyhow, so we'll see. I'm hoping, but he's my first choice. But like I say, 1 lock with that female, I don't know that I'm going to rely on that. We'll see.
Yeah. It's definitely a fun project. I just, it's a busy, pattern mutation. It's got a wild belly. Some things make it look a little bit better, yellow belly, leopard, in clowns I'm talking now. So I hatched some stuff last year, Wookiee stuff, confusion stuff. That looks pretty cool. I made a male 2 years ago that, I was 99.9% sure was confusion. But until I bred it out, I really wasn't 100% sure. I'm like, boy, this better prove out, or I just wasted a lot. I was pretty sure that it was, because he wasn't the best eater. It took me 2 years to get him ready to breed. So I was pretty darn sure that it was confusion. I actually shipped him off to a friend's house, and I'm like, this thing hasn't eaten for like 2 months. See if you can help me out here. And I tried. I gave it the Da Vinci and give it this and give it that, and a clean tub every week, and just a picky feeder. And finally, after 2 years, got it to breed, and hatched the first clutch from it. And they're all looking good. So they're all eating great. So.
Was it buried under another gene when you said you weren't sure if it was acid, or it was pretty subtle?
No, it was pretty subtle because it had banana. So I paired.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had a confusion spot nose clown. It's the one I got from Justin, and I paired it to a banana hurricane het clown. So I got the full meal deal out of that. I got a banana confusion hurricane spot nose clown. At least that's I coined it. That's what I coined it at the time. With the banana, what I noticed was, and this is why I wasn't sure, how the confusion / acid, they've got the black around the heat pits and the little eye stripe, Well, that's really tough to see on a banana, but what I noticed was that all that was purple. It was all purple.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So, instead of black around the heat pits and the eye stripes, it was all purple. And I'm like, this just looks confusion to me. And I kept it back, and it was a male, which was great because it's a female maker. It came from a female.
Right.
So I'm like,
with all those codoms in it.
People are going to think I'm stupid for keeping this male banana, but it's going to work out in my favor, because this year I hatched males that didn't have banana. Right? And all the females had banana.
Yes.
So I got now I've got exactly what I want without the banana.
Yep. In the males, yeah.
In the males, yeah. So I added a gene. I added red stripe. So, that was pretty cool. It took me 2 years to do it because the guy was just picky, and it took him a while to get up to size. But he'll eat a mouse every week now. He started out eating rats great, and it's like mice, and then a rat. And I'm just like, okay, I breed mice. You're going to get mice every week.
I have to. I have an acid entry that I picked up recently, and I actually haven't told the people that I got it from, but he has not eaten since I got him, and it's probably been 2.5 months. I'm like, what? Come on, what are you doing? And he's fine. He's alert. He's not, he's not diarrhea or any outward signs of issues. Nice vivid color, alert. Tongue flicks, all that. I think he's fine. He just stares at, and I give him ASFs every week. Here, eat this thing. Nope.
What is it again? What is it?
Acidenci, male.
Acidenci. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I wanted to get
How
acid into
old
my
was it?
super gravel.
How old was it when you got it?
He's probably close to 800,000 grams. I mean, he's a couple years old.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's
So
a couple years old. He's fine.
That's the thing. I was like,
probably
yeah,
got some females around there that he might want to breed. So
yeah, that's true too. He could just be
breeding season.
Could just be weird timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got him because I wanted to get acid into my super gravels. I was like, that's the right price. Just give me that boy. I'll use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I mixed it with some freeway. And I just had a clutch hatch from one of those old acid yellow belly girls, and I missed the freeway. I'm bummed out about that. So yeah, I wanted to get orange dream and leopard into the freeway with the acid, and it just didn't, it didn't happen. So I've got a couple cool males, a couple cool females that are ivories, that have acid. So, I'm not sure
nice.
Yeah, interesting animals. Probably a couple sheds that Charlie will get to let me know if the if the two males I have are asphalt or not. Because, I mean, if they're not asphalt, they're probably not worth as much if they were asphalt. And so
that's me with gravel. I'm like, I almost have to work with yellow belly because of the preponderance of it.
Yeah.
But really, super gravels are what I want, not highways.
Yeah. Well, this is just a good looking animal, the female that I have, and I try to make freeways with her every year. She's given me some pretty cool clutches, so I keep her on the freeway project.
Yeah. Does acid break through ivory like leopard does, or do you see it in there?
I think I see it in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually before as I was getting ready for this. I had just sent myself a few pictures of the ivories. I've got like an Enchi ivory, maybe orange dream, and then I've got what I think is a acid Enchi leopard orange dream ivory. So that would have been the banger if that was the freeway.
Yeah. Big time.
And that's a female. So I'm kind of like, I was getting ready to put ads on Wharf Market, and I'm like, I'll probably sell that female, even though I think she's got acid, because I'm not at the point where I'm going to raise up an ivory with that. I would rather have, freeway or another combo that I'm hoping to get later this year with a different clutch, a super asphalt.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Exactly.
I'm shooting for with that.
Do you keep, and I wish I'd seen it. I got to look it up. I haven't seen acid in that project yet, but I definitely have seen leopard in that project. I think leopard is one of my favorite, next step in that, to build on top of. What other genes do you love in those sort of yellow belly supers project?
Well, I've got a leopard orange dream freeway, so that's a pretty cool animal. I made some nice stuff with that last year. The acid freeway stuff that I made is really cool. It's got GHI and Cypress and Enchi, and they're just neon, and they're good females, but they're like, now we're coming up on 2 years old, and they probably are not going to be ready to breed this fall. I mean, that's just where I'm at. They're just slow growers. They're stocky. They're probably 1,000 grams, 900, 1,000 grams, but they're coming up on 2 years old.
Yeah, they just don't have the full length.
So, and I put them in Freedom Breeder 1040 tubs as soon as I can. I like to upgrade stuff as soon as I can if they'll eat it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so just get them in those tubs, and that's your forever home right there.
Yeah, I'm looking over it. I've got 5 super gravels with various other codoms that I'm hoping some of them are ready this year. This will be my first year that I'm actually able to breed my super gravels. So I'm hopeful. And then I've got some gravel heck clown stuff, but that's my thing. Look at Matt with the hot takes here. He says they don't hold a candle to yellow belly when mixed with other genes. Yellow belly, Matt.
I've got some ivory stuff that I've held back that I think is pretty valuable. I've got some ivory clown pied females, so they'll be breeding this fall. I've got a leopard ivory clown pied. I've got an Enchi ivory clown pied. So those I'll be breeding this fall. So those are pretty interesting animals, and you can, I've got a handful of asphalt things I could throw at that, or I don't know what I'll do with it. I've got some super asphalt males, and I could just make some crazy, freeways that are double het clown pied or whatever, I don't know. They're just cool animals to me.
How's the visual effect of an ivory on a clown pied? Is it still predominantly all white, or can you tell that it's clown pied from other than from the pairing?
You could tell there's saddles, and you
there
can
are.
see,
Okay, cool.
You can see the distinct head stamp, a clown head stamp
nice.
on them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, like I say, the leopard one is probably the most prominent one that I made.
Right.
The leopard just stands out.
It breaks through.
It's a low pattern, in clown pieds. So there's only a couple saddles on that particular animal, but it's a really cool female, really cool female.
Well, yeah, genetically, that's an incredible. Well, and I mean, mathematically, it's a triple as well. So I mean, that's pretty. Yeah, that's always going to be incredibly valuable.
Super. Yeah. So some cool ones there. Yeah, I hatched a male this year, and I actually just sold that and shipped it out last week. And an inchy orange dream clown pied is where I believe that it was, and I sold that. Somebody was pretty interested in that, and so I let that one go. But I didn't think that I needed that as a male.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are cool. That's a cool project. I've always, like I say, I've wanted to sort of steer clear of ivory and yellow belly, but I'm maybe there's no rules. I could do both. I could have super gravels and there's space and time.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to keep to the super gravels, though, I mean, it benefits you more to not have the ivories, but I think yellow belly is pretty cool. It's a nice enhancing gene,
Well, you could get what I found is I can get more codoms because all the highways have a gravel in them. So I just have to deal with, okay, the byproduct will be highways that I produce and the keepers will be super gravels that I produce. Yeah. And that's not a bad trade-off, really. I mean, it's certainly better than normals and single gene stuff. So I mean, that's not a bad trade-off at all.
Yeah. Slowly, that's what I kind of did this year, slowly transitioned to get rid of some females. And you have to go through this every year. It's like, because I don't want to keep, I could get a bigger space, but I don't want to have a bigger space. I just like to keep it confined to the 15 by 30 room that I have and the amount of racks that I have. So every year I get to the point, now that the room is full of racks that I want, I get to the point where, okay, a handful of these females have to go, and we have to figure out which females are going to go this year. So, I think everybody probably at some point you'll get to that and be like, well,
I was just doing the math today because I was like, all right, I got the space, I got these holdbacks. There's going to be one more, 55-40 will be the last rack. Because after that, I would have to take that massive step to hire somebody beyond that, which is going to be, prohibitive because of the cost to try and. Right. I mean, I spent all that time getting to the point where I'm making that much money and doing that much, then to have to put that to an employee for just to take a next step, it would be a long time beyond that, I think, before I took that step. If obviously if the business grew and blew up, but that's going to be the cap for me, where I have to say, okay, when those bins are full, things got to start coming out before they go in,
Yeah, 50 clutches is fairly manageable for me, so I don't want any more than that. That gives me a solid base of breeder females, a solid base of grow outs that are going to replace those with better genetics, and then, a solid space for hatchlings. Got a couple of the ARS Mini 130 racks, so I can hold 300 hatchlings, which is about what you need for 50 clutches, so.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you have any left over from the year before, because they won't all come at one time, but you're always cycling through them. Yeah. Well, Corey, let's take just a quick break. We still got to talk about doing shows. I want to pay some bills real quick.
Yeah, pay some bills.
Yeah, man. Guys, check out REDLINE shipping if you haven't. I don't know how you could be missing it by this point, but you should. If you haven't, you're going to enjoy their customer service. Their customer experience on their website is very manageable, easy to use. And these are reptile people caring and looking after your reptiles. Their team is fantastic. It's hot out there. Call them before you ship your animals. They're going to tell you when to ship, how to ship. They're going to look out for you and your animals. Use the promo code PROPER5. You get $5 off your next shipping label. Also, Gray Rider Reptiles. That's Charlie over at shedtesting.com. He's in the audience tonight. Thanks for hanging out, Charlie. Man, I think it was this morning. We were texting when I first got up, and now here you are here. Charlie is just rolled out a bunch of new shed tests that are available. I should have it up, but I'm going to go get the list for you right now. You guys got to go check out the website. It is up to date. You'd think I could be a little more professional and have this together. Here we go. Wookie, chocolate, bongo, spot nose, champagne, woma, and spider just added to the website. Those are all available right now. And I know right around the corner is monsoon and zebra. I believe TSK is right around the corner. And I've seen sunset thrown around. I actually.
Yeah, I saw sunset there. I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
So those are out there now. Charlie's going to give you a great customer service experience, a fast turnaround. Look, I was doing business. As a customer, I was doing business with Charlie long before we were ever doing this arrangement. So I stand by the people that I advertise for, and it's usually because I fell in love with their product. Use the promo code PROPER15. You get 15% off of 2 shed test orders, the whole order. There's no small print there. I don't know where it ends. You take that up with Charlie, but there's no small print there. 15% off of 2 orders. Have a field day with Charlie out there. Next is Robbie at Argen Reptiles. Robbie is in Greer, South Carolina. He's working kind of a focused collection, DG Pied and Clown with the dark genes like Stranger and Blackhead. He's working single, double, and triples on those. Of course, there's a lot of hets that come with those sorts of projects. So if any of that is what you're looking for, go check out Argen Reptiles. Also, argenreptiles.com. If you sign up for Robbie's email newsletter, he makes all of his animals available first on the newsletter. It doesn't cost you anything. He doesn't spam anything. He didn't even advertise other people. You didn't have to sit through this kind of thing with him. Go check out Argen Reptiles. It's down below in the link, and you get first dibs on his animals, and he's got perks. I can't promise what they are because I think they change pretty often, but he offers special deals in the email community there. So doesn't cost you anything. Check it out. That's Argen Reptiles. Portuguese Pythons, that's Danny and Renee Rocha out in Chino, California, and also doing very, very nice things. I've got a 1.3 Ultramel Pied project from them with several different codoms, Blackhead and Mojave, and Trick is in there as well. So I'm excited to be working those next season. They have beautiful animals. I know they just hatched out a clutch of super Blackhead Ultramels, and they will be at the LA Pet Expo this weekend. That's in LA. So go see them. And that is Portuguese Pythons. Go check them out. And you can find all of their information down below in the description as well. Ball Labs, that is Trevor in Aurora, Colorado. Trevor is working anything and everything he can get his hands on. While some of us try and stay focused, Trevor likes it all. He's got some really cool things like various genes. Like I saw a Jaguar in his collection the other day. If you keep up with his Instagram, he posts every day. He's got a lot of really interesting genes that he's working with. But I will give you the full list of the ones that he's most noted for. Puzzle, Ultramel Clown, VPI Xanthic, and Tri-Stripe. He does have Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset in his collection as well. When I was doing the initial interview, he was like, I don't want to run people off or frighten them about price. And I was like, I'll tell them about it anyhow. So if you're looking for any of those and you're out in Colorado or in the West, you should give Trevor a close look. Also, if you're looking for rodents in Colorado, Trevor is one of a very small handful of people that is actually licensed to breed and sell rodents. He's doing it the right way. He's participating with the laws legally, and those are the kind of people I want to do business with. So, Trevor, Ball Labs. Last but not least is Chris at B and S Reptilia. Chris was the original sponsor of Proper Royals. I'm so thankful for Chris. He and I vend together at Tinley. You'll see Chris there at Tinley with me. And Chris, along with ball pythons, has locality boas, blood pythons, colubrids, Pituophis, if you're familiar with that term. Chris is your man. Those are the bull and the pine snakes. And Chris is working on the appropriate permits so that we can have bull and pine snakes on the table at Tinley, legally, of course. And we should be one of the only tables in the room that has those. So come check it out. If you're in the Pennsylvania area, Chris is also the regional distributor of the Chipper Cocoa. Corey DeLong from CD Constrictors is here with me. His information is down below in the description as well. If you're not following him on Instagram, you should be. You can also follow him on Morph Market, amazing snakes, and a wealth of history and knowledge tonight. So, Corey, thanks for being here, man. Thanks to the audience for hanging out. 47 people coming out of the commercial break is pretty good. I'm really thankful to you guys, and thanks for sticking around. Thanks to the sponsors, too. They really do make a difference in my life. So, Corey, what I know that you do like the NARBC shows, or some of them. Do you do all of the NARBC shows? What shows do you do?
Tinley. I'm going to Schaumburg in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I did Arlington. Missed Dallas this year. Had a problem with my truck. Going to Tinley. yeah.
I remember that story. I was like, oh my gosh.
My truck. I still didn't have it back by the time Dallas came around, and the rental they gave me was not going to get me there. So, I wasn't able to make that one, but be going to Schaumburg, to Arlington. I haven't been to St. Louis, thought about doing that one. But I like Tinley. I like Schaumburg. I did Schaumburg last year. I'm already signed up for next year. I just, Brian and Bob were kind enough when I said I had the issues with my truck for Dallas. So they're like, well, what do you want us to do? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go to Schaumburg. So I said, just sign me up for next year. And they said, okay, we'll send you next year. So I think it's a really good show. It's one of the first, Daytona always to me is like the first big show of the year.
Yeah.
This seems like they got new stuff on the ground, or some people do.
Right.
My season's pretty early, so I've always got new stuff on the ground. But I'll have new stuff in a couple weeks. So if anybody's up to Schaumburg, stop by, say hi. It's a good show. It's a good venue. It's probably the nicest hotel that they have on the entire circuit. You walk into the bathroom, and if the TV pops on in the mirror, it's crazy. It startled me last year. I go in there with my son, and I'm like, I've never seen this ever in my life. Like, the TV pops on in the bathroom when you walk in. I'm like, I thought something was going on. It's not somebody's in the bathroom with me. But yeah, the hotel venue is amazing, and it's a good show venue as well. Good, it's a little ways from. I think it's about 40 minutes farther north than Tinley. I think I'm right on that. I'm not 100%.
Yeah,
certain.
it's on my side of Chicago. So yeah, when I remember driving to Tinley for the first time, and my GPS said it was going to be like 7 hours, and I was like, I'm in Chicago in 5 hours, man. I killed it. Yeah, it was 2 more hours around the Beltway because I was in afternoon traffic getting to Tinley. So Schaumburg's on my side of it, but no, I hear such mixed reviews on Schaumburg. I have to go check it out. Maybe I'm just letting like a mixed review stick in my mind because look, I mean, driving from Daytona, whether it's 40 minutes one way or another, you're driving from Daytona to Illinois, man. That's a long way for a snake show. So I mean, that says something to me about.
It was a great show last year, and I if they pull the numbers through the door again this year, like they're known for, and NARBC, I'm sure they will pull the numbers through the door. It's in the same, expanded Chicago area. I mean, I expect to probably pull the same numbers through there, and heads in the door, it equals sales. I mean, if you got decent stuff on the table. So, I right across from Bob and Josh, I had a great table last year. It was fun across from those guys. So,
Right.
Patrick from Dragon Soul right behind me. He's a crackerjack. He's hilarious. He had I think he had a rough night Saturday last year. He came rolling in on Sunday. He was having all kinds of fun. So it's a good show. It was a really good show.
Pat's great. I thought you were going to say from Chimera. That's why I lit up when you said Dragon. I was like, he's a blast, man.
Yeah. He's funny.
I don't have the inventory to jump on to Schaumburg this year, but next year I might have to. They do that twice a year as well, though.
Yeah, it's a once a year show.
Once a year. I got you. So I have to see what my inventory is like. I'm lucky, but I timed my inventory pretty nicely where I just did 3 shows in 8 days in the past 2 weekends. So
3 shows in 8 days.
Yeah, they're one-day shows, but I did Wisconsin last Saturday, Minneapolis last Sunday, and then Des Moines, Iowa 3 days ago, whatever that is, 48 hours ago, finished that up. So but it was good, man. It was like you say, you get out there, you got good stuff on the table, and if they can get people through the door, then good things happen. So it was a really good stretch, but it wouldn't make sense for me to go do Schaumburg right now.
I think the more shows that you can do and get out there, and Daytona will always it's in my backyard, so I can't not do it, and it's a good show.
Brandon asks, was it worth it doing those shows? It was. Those were that was my best 3-day stretch that I've ever had. So, I mean, some of that's just that I've had better stuff and my brand is bigger and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was definitely worth it.
I told you, Brandon, get out there.
Yeah. I was a little bit worried because like I say, I'm a month off. I have a month until I do another show, and that's only one, and then another month before I do shows. So for 60 days, I've only got one show.
Right.
Those 3 shows were good enough for me to go, I'm good. I just got to keep up the shop and do what I do, and I'll be all right. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was good for me, and everything's relative. There would be people, if I said the number, they would be like, that's not enough for 3 days of work. And I'm going, I used to work weeks for that amount of work of the revenue that I did in those 3 days. So I'm good,
Right.
So it's good for me.
Everybody has their own vision of what a successful show is.
Isn't it weird? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like probably similar to you. You're doing everything there, right? I mean, so you're taking care of the animals. Yeah, one-man show. So my son helped me occasionally, but he's full-time now. So it's back to myself doing, I'm doing everything. I'm cleaning, I'm feeding, taking care of hatchlings. I'm collecting eggs. I'm putting eggs away. I'm separating clutches. I'm sending sheds out. I'm shipping. I'm doing it all. Yeah. So, the shows do help, you to get out there and relieve some of that inventory that you have. And, the morph market, at first, I wasn't really fond of the auction situation that popped up, but I'll tell you what, it's a good market. It really is a good market. I find it to be better than wholesaling animals. Mm-hmm. I find I get really good prices for stuff that I would probably normally wholesale. And I've had people come and ask me, I'm like, people that have bought wholesale from me for a couple of years, and they're like, hey, do you got any wholesale stuff? I got a show coming in a couple of weeks. And I think I filled like one person a month or two ago with maybe 20 animals. And I'm, somebody else asked me, and I'm like, man, I do have some stuff, but you're going to have to step it up a little bit because I'm doing really well on these auctions, better than wholesale prices, and darn near retail on some stuff. So it's like, it's to the point where, I'm at the pro membership. So you get your 4 auctions free, but the last 3 months, I don't know if you knew this, but you can buy 10 extra auctions. Mm-hmm. I'm buying 10 extras a month. Yeah,
you are. I gotcha.
For $250. And then the first one that I sell is paid for. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you buy, if
10 for $25 a piece, that's $250.
Yep.
And the first animal I sell, it's paid for all 10 of them.
Yeah. Everything 10% overhead. Yeah. Any of us would sign up for only 10% overhead. Like any show you do, you would hope that it was only 10% overhead. Really?
Yeah.
interesting point. The shows that I do, a lot of them, the Minneapolis show reminds me a lot of like the Tampa Repticon. Really, really solid show, just below like a national caliber scene show. So I really, really love that one. The Wisconsin show and the Des Moines show, they're just classic small town shows. And even pet grade, maybe. But something I've found is I haven't had to wholesale anything. There's people that are excited to buy a $40 beautiful normal ball python, and there's an excited fan. Yeah,
there is.
And so I don't, like I say, not all of them are like me getting rich. So it was a mix. Yeah. Minneapolis far outweighed the other two combined. However, I still made more than I would have in previous days worth of work for sure. And I enjoy getting to make new customers. Those are people that'll follow up with me or that I'll see next time at the show. And we all know, like, the good ball python customer doesn't buy just one ball python. That's not going to happen very often. So I like starting those relationships for me anyway.
Yeah. I always meet somebody different at a show, somebody new.
There is always somebody.
Yeah. Always new customers, and you develop new friends and message people and go back and forth on Instagram or exchange numbers, and they might give you a text or a call once in a while. And,
well, and the breeder scene, I will say the one thing I miss here with all of these one-day shows are the breeder hangouts. Like, when you're camped out somewhere for at least 2 nights, if not 3 nights, like those are fun hangs, man. Like good times, good friends, good business happens in those hangouts, man.
Right.
And you can learn a ton of, hey, what worked for you guys, or what are you seeing here, or what's this here? Like every one of those hangouts is like one of these episodes, man. You just get to learn so much or share so much or just hang out,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the community is all about. We're all making cool animals, and the hanging out and the camaraderie is a huge part of it. Like I had Brandon came down for Daytona. That was cool. He hung out, went out to dinner a few times, and then went up to Tinley. That was a good time. So you meet new people. I've met him on the Discord and talking back and forth. Followed his page, and there are a lot of other people like that, met you at the show now, maybe we'll do something on one night when we get up there, or if you come down to Daytona, you do something down here, that's what it's all about. I mean, Thursday night, I try to put something together down here for Daytona, and
cool.
So, just for early birds coming into town, because everybody's usually booked like Friday, Saturday, So early birds come into town, I catch them and usually do something Thursday night. But, then everybody, there's so many different groups. It's hard to, you'll get a couple invites. It's gonna be like, man, I hate to turn this one down, but I've already got this plan going on here, it's really just tough. And that's what makes it enjoyable, is you've got a lot of variety there and a lot of people to catch up with. And at Tinley, I don't leave Sunday right after the show. I stay over an extra night. So I try to catch up with some people that, I didn't like. One year I caught up with Will. That was a really good dinner I had with Will and Winston and a couple other people that were with us. And, it was good to sit down for a solid 2 hours and talk, not just business, but, just life,
Yep. Yeah. That Sunday night hack, a Sunday night at Tinley is like a great little hack. That's what I catch up with people that because you're so busy all weekend, and then Sunday's like, wow, we can behave like normal people, have a dinner, get some rest, and not have to scream our conversations over 900 other people in the room at the same time. Yeah. That's what I do. Probably do that for Schaumburg. That's my plan anyway. Probably do it for Tinley as well. Daytona, I'm just lucky it's in my backyard. I can sleep in my own bed every night. Yeah. Corey, I'll get you out of here on this question. How do you choose what shows to do? There's damn sure shows closer to you than Tinley and Schaumburg and Arlington that are quality shows, but obviously probably not as big. But what's your deciding factor? And well, everybody I think is pretty aware, probably less expensive shows to buy tables at too. What's your deciding factor on what shows you do? And has that changed since, say, 5 years ago?
I don't think so. It's the deciding factor, I think, is not only just the market, but just the sheer number of people that are going to be there. So I go to Tinley or Daytona. I mean, I've got Winston's there, Brock's there. Brandon's been the last couple shows. Just so many people. Jason Kittinger, Steve Casino. From Steve's Morphs, Dal. All those people that you just don't get to see, even though some of us are so close to each other. You don't get to see them all. Will, he comes to Tinley. I mean, it's his game. He hasn't been able to make it to Daytona. He's going to try to make it this year. But to get together and be able to see all those people, like KG and D, like I really enjoy seeing them at Tinley.
Right.
So that's really a huge deciding factor. Is I can go down after the show, and after I have dinner, and go down to the bar at the hotel. And I'm not a big drinker, so it's not my attraction down there. I'll go down and just, I'll grab a beer. Somebody's going to buy me a beer, inevitably, and I'll hold one in my hand and nurse them for a while.
Right.
But I'll just sit down there and have a conversation with all these people and be like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know KG and D did this. That's interesting. That's what else they've got going on in their life, and I didn't know, so-and-so did this, and that's what they got going on in their life. And it's just you get a good mixing pot of backgrounds of people that are doing one similar thing. You get to hear about other things, Christine here. I didn't know somebody's in here, Christine doing nursing and cramming in overtime to buy extra snakes. Like, that's something that I would have a commonplace to talk with them about at a show,
Yeah.
Be like, oh, well, what did you work and what did you do, And so, it's all about those people. You get to see them all at once, all in one place, and it only happens a couple times a year.
Right.
So for me, that's like, but you get all those people in one place. Like Antoine, like he's a kicker, He's always fun to hang around with. He's always laughing, and and you just get to see everybody that makes those shows, and that the people make the shows. The great people that put the venue on. That's one aspect of it. That gather all these people that are immensely important to the hobby, and get to see Charlie too. You just get to see everybody at once. And you spread yourself too thin. There's just not enough time to do everything that you want to do, and it just leaves you to be like, I got to go back again because you know what, man, I didn't get to have dinner with Charlie, or I didn't get to have breakfast with Will, or I didn't get to have breakfast with so and so, or whatever. And it's just like, I got to try to plan this now next time, and try to squeeze these people in, and meet up with a little bit of a different crowd.
Yeah.
That's what does it for me.
No, I do love it. And I even just on a small scale in the Florida scene with a lot of the people you mentioned that, Dale, Steve Casino, George MD's down there. Jeremy
George.
Bod. Yeah. Jeremy Bod was a huge help for me getting started. And just seeing those guys, 6-8 times a year and having dinner with them and drinks and fun and even getting to know their wives and family and all of that kind of stuff, man. It's just I do miss that when I moved here less than a year ago. So I miss a lot of that scene. But Corey, thank you so much for being here, man. I take it as a huge compliment that you came on the show.
Sorry it took so long, but we made it happen.
Well, you know what? Like I say, there's always another Tuesday, and we found one, so it worked. Guys, go see Corey first on Instagram and Morph Market, but also you can see him at Schaumburg, and you'll be
thanks for everybody stopping by.
You'll be at Tinley in the fall as well, right? And Daytona in August.
Daytona, we got Schaumburg, we got Daytona, we got Tinley. Yep, that's the next 3 shows.
All of the playing the hits, man. That's it.
All
Just
the fine hits.
all the hits, man. That's it. There.
Yeah.
Corey, stick her up for one
Okay.
second. I just got to catch up with you after the show.
got
Guys, next week, same place, same time, I'll have Jeremy Warfel on. I will be in Pennsylvania at Warfel's cookout. I guess it's like 10 days away or something. It's sneaking up on me, but I'll be there. Whenever it is, I'll be there. I got the flight booked, the car booked. We got everything worked out. I will be there. Audience, thanks so much for making this just a killer experience. Every Tuesday night, coming up on 3 years now I've been doing this. I couldn't say thanks enough. So thank you all. Thanks, Corey. I will see everybody soon. Good night, guys.
Good night.